All right, moving further from here on to the Russia-Ukraine front. Russia has ruled out any peace talks with Ukraine, and this comes amid Kyiv raising pressure on the Kremlin by claiming fresh advances in its offensive into Russian territory.
Now, President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Ukraine now controls over 1,250 square kilometers and 92 settlements in the Kursk region.
Ukrainian warriors continue the defensive operation in the designated areas of the Kursk region. As of today, our forces control more than 1,250 square kilometers of enemy territory and 92 settlements. We continue to strengthen our positions, stabilize designated areas, and, what is very important, replenish the exchange fund for Ukraine.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky further added that his country's assault on Russia's Kursk region shows that Kremlin threats of retaliation were a bluff.
Zelensky said that Ukraine was achieving its objectives. Officials previously said that the objectives include stretching Russian forces, creating a buffer zone in Russian territory, and seeking an end to the war on fair terms.
The Ukrainian president has appealed to Western leaders to allow Ukraine's troops to use long-range Storm Shadow missiles to hit Russian territory.
If our partners lifted all the current restrictions on the use of weapons on Russian territory, we would not need to physically enter, particularly the Kursk region, to protect our Ukrainian citizens in the border communities and eliminate Russia's potential for aggression.
Zelensky urged diplomats to organize a second round of peace talks this year, but Kremlin aide has said that Ukraine's incursion had pushed peace talks further away.
Vladimir Putin has demanded Ukraine cede swathes of territory if it wants a ceasefire. On the other hand, Zelensky, who has ruled out direct talks with the Kremlin, demands Russia's full withdrawal from Ukrainian territory, including Crimea and reparations.
Ukraine, meanwhile, pushed into Kursk, bracing for a further assault. Ukraine ordered the evacuation of families from the key city of Pokrovsk as Moscow's forces inch closer to the logistics hub. A Russian military investigator has claimed that a third bridge over the Siem River inside Russia was hit over the weekend. The Russian Defense Ministry said that it has thwarted Ukrainian attacks on 3 more villages in the Donetsk region. Moscow said that it captured the town of Artemovo, one of the largest Russian gains of recent weeks.
Ukrainian artillery fired on a bus stop in the city of Donetsk, which is under Russia's control. And Ukraine said Russian attacks killed 4 people in the frontline settlements of Donetsk and Zarish. On the diplomatic front, seeking to give impetus to a possible settlement, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Ukraine on the 23rd of August.
Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi will undertake an official visit to Ukraine later this week on Friday, 23rd August, at the invitation of President of Ukraine, His Excellency Volodymyr Zelensky. This also is a landmark and historic visit, since this will be the first time that an Indian Prime Minister will be visiting Ukraine in more than 30 years since the diplomatic relations were established between our countries.
With Prime Minister Modi set to depart on a visit to Poland and then Ukraine, mere weeks after his trip to Russia, our principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibal sends us this report from Warsaw on what we can expect from the Indian Prime Minister's Kyiv visit.
The Indian government and the Ukrainian government has formally announced that the Indian Prime Minister will be travelling to Ukraine. The Indian Prime Minister's visit is seen significant in the backdrop of the Russia-Ukraine war. India's stance has been that dialogue and diplomacy is the way forward, and no solution can come on the battlefield. India, of course, has extended its support in terms of humanitarian aid to Ukraine. 16 packages have been sent when it comes to humanitarian aid, and also India participated at the Peace Summit in Switzerland earlier this year. But remember, while Indian Prime Minister's presence in Kyiv will be a strong support for President Zelensky. India is also a close partner of Russia. The Indian Prime Minister was in Russia just 2 months ago, and there have been several pillars of that relationship: defense, energy, and others as well. But all in all, India's position on the war has been one of neutrality. But this visit, the outcome can be seen significant in terms of Indian Prime Minister in person present in the country. That, of course, will be welcomed by the West.